Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.
The ISUPK presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. You do not want to miss this one, Israel. Shalom.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.
Experience for what you're Put his garment on. Go ahead. Put his garment. Hey, what you got in that bag? Come on. You already know what I got in that bag, man. Say less. There you go. There you go. Oh. Are you good? Hey, yo, the Passover is right around the corner. Take a light on now. Light on now. Put his garment on. Go ahead. Put his garment.
Hey, what you got in that bag?
Come on. You already know what I got on that bag, man.
Say less.
There you go. There you go. Oh.
Are you good?
Hey, yo, the Passover is right around the corner.
Hey, don't forget Officer Kabar's sauce. His hot sauce, you can put it on the lamb.
Reporting live from Hyper's Club in Atlanta, 5 Plus News. I'm John. ICE and other immigration on behalf of President Bush, only to be met with pushback from city officials and warnings from some of their residents that gangs in Chicago will not be an easy fight. Now, part of Operation Midway Blitz, ICE and other agents have begun sweeping through Chicago, which has now raised concerns of Black Chicago residents and others on who ICE is targeting. Just 2 nights ago, close to 300 armed agents would raid an apartment complex in a Black neighborhood at 2 in the morning. According to reports, the raid was expected to focus on potential Venezuelan immigrants and gang members, but what
they were
whose door was kicked in and was detained would share what he experienced, sharing that he was put into a van with others after assuming agents had the wrong home. While speaking to local outlet Block Club Chicago, the man would go on to reveal, "They didn't tell me why I was detained." Another Black Chicago resident who was also detained will go on to tell local news about the moment she was grabbed by ICE.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me, did I have any warrants? And I told them no.
She said she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m.
Upon this report now circulating online, several would take here to our YouTube channel. And if you enjoy content like this, check out hypersclub.com to get a membership to watch full interviews and more original content. And of course, if you have a story you news, I'm Janab.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store
camp today. We are.
Who won't give a damn about the Alamo? Right. Who gives a damn about the white man's loss? That's why the world will rejoice when we are in the door. Right. And the scepter of the rulers. The truth of the matter is that you, the white man, have painted yourself as Jesus Christ. Right. No more of the evil and the crimes that we learned from your people. And guess what? The more and more we change and become righteous, which we're doing today, teaching the love that we're teaching the righteousness that we're teaching, the more that you're going to fall and be back in a position of a servant. Right. Because I never seen love for black people. I never seen love for Native Indians. Right. I never seen kindness for these people. Right. I never seen all of the good things you just said. I never seen them for black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right. So all of that heartwarming stuff that you're talking about does not apply in the barrios and the reservation. Right. All of the stuff that you're talking about does not apply to the ghettos of America.
I understand you guys have been hanging out here for I don't know how long, and things have changed. The Alamos kind of taken over the territory.
Because the last thing we want to do is have an officer get called out here who's not informed and act on something and get himself in trouble. Absolutely. Right? We're gonna make sure we speak to the whole shift about it and everybody knows the legality of what's going on in Alamo Plaza, because obviously it's a little bit disorganized from what they want as to what is on paper.
Once again, just undefeated when the Lord on your side. You know what I mean? Commander General Your Honor raised up real revolutionaries. Damn right. That know what to fight for and how to fight.
Everything will wash away. It is good. A new race is coming. Everything will burn to ash. It is good. A new nation is rising. Everything will sweep away. It is good. A clean spirit is breathing. Highway when
What's up? You got a question?
Yes. What is the name of y'all's movement?
The ISUPK. Why do you?
So I've heard the term Black Israelites. I was wondering what that was.
Like is an oxymoron. That's like saying white real Jews are blacks.
Right.
That's the facts.
Okay. Listen to y'all's message and thought you were a Black Israelite. Would you say, yeah, you guys have the general idea, but that's not correct?
I would say exactly what I told you. Like the exact thing
I told you is that because the world is brainwashed by Christianity, right? Because Israel right now is a white superpower who stole the identity, the popular consensus is that they are the real Jews, but really they're culture thieves. They created a fake religion. They converted in the 8th century, around 722 AD. And when they converted, they created a fake religion and stole an identity.
So what happened when they converted? Why did you?
No, the people that you call Jewish today,
yes,
that you believe to be the Jews, converted to a fake religion called Judaism, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
That's right. Okay. So how did, you said Native Americans, Latinos, and Black people, they're the actual descendants of Abraham.
Correct.
Correct. Would you say that's true in a spiritual sense or in a literal sense?
No, in like spiritually, we're God's chosen people, and ethnically, bloodline, tell me.
It's kind of a general white.
Just generally white, right? So, something along those lines. But you wouldn't tell me you're Chinese. And if you ate every meal with chopsticks, if you put on a chisu, it's not a religion, it's a blood right. You know what I'm saying? Birthright. You have to be born from one of the 12 tribes of Israel in order to be a part of the nation of Israel.
So you're literally a descendant.
Literally descendants. And what they are is Jewish, or they're Israelis. Israeli, that means to be an inhabitant of the land.
Okay.
Jewish means of or pertain to ites. Ite means to be the son of, descendant of. So, what's up? You got a question?
Yes. What is
what you do to him? I ain't do anything.
We come out here to teach the truth of the Bible. What
do you think about the we all go through stuff?
You understand? You know the true heroes were the freedom who raised freedom fighters, flag at the Alamo, saying that they are not going to surrender. The blacks and Hispanics who are allied in freedom. See, blacks and Hispanics, black and brown, we are allies. We are friends. We have suffered the same pain inside of America. We are brothers and sisters. Hear that good. And God said we're the greatest people on the face of the earth. And
it's unique.
What sin can't you conquer? What sin can't
everything you're doing, I love it.
America is hell for the Native American. You familiar with the Native American? The Native American had their land, America stole it from them, pushed on reservations, and then at the same time, the government said, the lands that we push you on are not suitable for you to raise children on. So we're going to create boarding schools and take your children from you by force, like they do today, and educate them and colonize them into and assimilate them into white culture. You understand that? Where they molested our children and did all kind of heinous crimes and acts. See, what black people don't understand is the Native American and Hispanic are your brother, man. The Native American fails to realize that black people and Mexican people are your brother. And these other nations are not our brother. And why do I emphasize that? Because we seem to love everybody but us. Black people said, oh, this is not our fight, in response to what's going on with how ICE is hunting the steps of the Hispanic man, woman, and child. Black people said in their ignorance, that's not our fight. Nigga, that is your fight. That is absolutely your fight. Don't you know that the thing they're doing to them is the thing that they're gonna do to you?
Shalom Israel. Nosotros somos la Escuela Israelita de Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Comenzamos de un oeste, calle 125, en Harlem, Nueva York, abajo del Comandante General Yahana. Shalom Israel. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahana. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, informing you that you are the true Israelites spoken about in the Holy Bible. And tonight's class is Isupk's Brotherhood class. You know, I played a clip before class, and it was a response to so-called blacks being targeted by ICE, right? You know, in Chicago a few months back, they were hunting down so-called gang members, Venezuelan gang members, right? And they raided an apartment building, right? And in this apartment building, it was full of so-called blacks and Hispanics, and they didn't care if you were from the United States. They were just targeting blacks and Hispanics, right? So they detained a lot of American citizens, you know what I mean? But a lot of so-called blacks are saying that, well, they voted for this, talking about the Latinos, so-called Latinos, right? They voted for this, so let them reap the repercussions of the bed that they made. But the repercussions of what the so-called Latinos made is affecting both blacks and Hispanics. They want to say that it's just on us, right? But here in the Isupk, we've been saying that they hate us both, that we're oppressed together. Just like in Jim Crow, when we were trying to integrate, Salakia, when we were trying to integrate into white society, they hated us both. They had Jim Crow laws against us both blacks and Hispanics, both against black and brown. For years, we've been trying to see each other as different, because that's what they want us to see each other as just different, that we're not the same people, that us Hispanics are different because we never did go through, chattel slavery, which is a lie. It's a complete lie, because they don't want to tell you in the history books that the transatlantic slave trade actually started here in South America. It started here with the Arawak and Taino Indians being captured and shipped off into Seville, Spain, with hundreds of them being captured, and only a select few made it, and they said it was good business, right? It's kind of crazy that we still to this day see each other as different just because we speak a slave language. We were forced to speak Spanish, which our ancestors did not speak. And our black brothers are forced to speak English, which they did not speak when they were stolen from the west coast of Africa. We both were forced and indoctrinated into an Eurocentric ideology, a Eurocentric language. We were forced and indoctrinated by the sword. We both speak a slave language, like how I'm speaking to you now, and how I introduced the class at the beginning. These are slave languages, but this is how we understand each other, right? We speak Spanish because the Spanish colonized us, and we were forced to speak Spanish. Our black brothers speak English because they were enslaved and conquered by, the Englishmen. And that's how we communicate with each other nowadays. It's through a slave language. And that same slave language, which is, Spanish and English, it divides us because, they think that Spanish is what the Hispanics speak, but that's just a language that was forced upon us, just like how English was forced upon our black brothers. It's the same thing. Yet they were both a European language. They're both a white man's language. They were both an oppressor's language. So how can we see each other different when we're both oppressed together? We're going to get into some of the scriptures right here. I'm going to get into Jeremiah 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel, that's your so-called Hispanic tribes, right? Israel has 12 tribes. Excuse me. I got a little bit of acid reflux going on. Israel has 12 tribes, but we were split after the reign of King Solomon, right? We split into two kingdoms, the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah. And the kingdom of Israel were the northern tribes, which are your so-called Hispanic tribes, right? Your so-called Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? That's the kingdom of Israel. I'm going to start from the top. Jeremiah 50, verse 33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, which is your so-called black, your black tribes, right? Your tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Slakia, my phone is making all these noises. I was about to die. All right, shut it off real quick. Oh man, it's tripping. Anyway. Salakia, bear with me. There we go. The children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, right? The children of Judah are your southern tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. That's the kingdom of Judah. It says we were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. They refused to let us go. Now they're persecuting the so-called Hispanics in America, right? Through ICE. And our black brothers are saying that it's not their fight. They should sit this one out. Yet that is rolling over into their community now. They're being targeted now because we're oppressed together. And they're not gonna let us both go. We're both going to see this turmoil and see this oppression, just how we both saw it before through the Spanish Inquisition and the colonization of this new world, right? The so-called new world. They stole the land from the Native American Indians, stole our black brothers from the west coast of Africa, and had them build up their empire here. We both saw oppression and servitude, because a lot of so-called Hispanics want to say that we were never slaves, right? Well, how did you get your last name? Gonzalez, Hernandez, Rodriguez. How did you get that last name? That Euro Spanish last name? Because as far as I know, none of my people were from Spain. And I'm pretty sure none of your people were from Spain. And if your people are from Spain, I'm not speaking to you. This is not for you. I'm speaking to the people that were colonized and oppressed. I'm not talking about these criollos and these these Europeans that came over here and ruled over us. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking to my people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that suffered oppression under the devil, the white man. I'm talking to them. Yet we see each other different when we both served in servitude. Just like how our black brothers have the name Johnson and Smith, right? Those are English last names. That's not their last names, but that's a last name that was branded upon them through their slave master. That's the same way that Hispanics have Spanish last names through our slave master. Because yes, we did go through slavery also. It's called the encomienda system. The encomienda system took the natives of so-called New Spain, right? That's what they called it. And it put them into like a caste system to where they would have to adopt a quote unquote Christian name. And this caste system that they were in, they were workers on the Spaniards' land, which was originally our land, right? Well, you were a worker on your own land, forced to plant crops on your own land and seek none of the benefits, reap none of the benefits of the crops that you grew, that you worked the soil and broke your back for. You didn't reap none of those benefits. All those benefits went to the crown of Spain. All those benefits went to the conquistador that came over here and raped and robbed our land. And in that caste system, they were ordered from the crown of Spain to give us quote unquote Christian names. And what names did they consider Christian? Well, when the conquistadors came over here, they came in the name of God, glory, and the crown, right? Well, they deemed themselves Christians, right? So they named us after themselves. So we were branded with their last names. That's how we got our last names. So-called Mexican man, so-called Honduran, Guatemalan, Venezuelan. That's how we got our last names. No different from our black brothers. Yet we want to see each other as, a different nation. Oh no, we're not like them because, they're darker than us and they went through slavery. And they just want to use the system while we come over here and try to work hard, right? Yet the system hates us both. You want to work hard to support your family through this system when the system just wants to see you in servitude. That's all they do. You know what I mean? That's all they want. They want to see us in servitude. They don't want to see us rise. They don't want to see us, pursue happiness. That's not for us. That's for them. Just like how a majority of our people are coming over here and they're making a name for themselves by hard work, right? By hard work and struggling. They're gaining some type of leverage here in America. They're starting to own their own businesses and they're starting to rise up in corporate America. And that is exactly what they're hating. That's what they're hating. That's why ISIS, cracking down on so-called illegal immigrants, right? And many of American citizens are getting caught up in it because they really not after illegals. It's an all-out war against black and brown. That's what it truly is. Because they're losing their place. And that's what they're scared of. I saw a post online saying for the first time in history that minority births are the majority here in the United States, that's been happening. Let's just face the fact that's been happening. The white man's birth rate has been in decline for years now, right? That's the reason why they want to, outlaw abortion, because their race is dwindling. Their numbers are dwindling, while our numbers, it's like our numbers, they just continue to rise, no matter the oppression that they put us under, no matter all the turmoil and oppression and unaliving that is put upon our people. We still see our numbers growing, and that's what they hate. They hate the fact that the Lord is still showing his mercy on us, because they want us to fall out of the grace of our Father so they can rule over us. But it's coming to naught because their numbers are dwindling. Their wickedness is being, uncovered day by day by day. No longer are they viewed as the supreme, race on the earth. And they hate that. They're clawing and scratching for their place back. And they're never going to get it back. Never. America was never great, and it never will be great. I'm gonna drop that. Let's go to Zephaniah 2:1, right? Bring out Zephaniah 2:1. Bear with me. Hold on. My phone is acting kind of slow right now. Zephaniah 2:1. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. All right, it's so important that the Lord said it twice. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. O nation not desired. That's you, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. It's plain to see that we're both not desired in this hellish place called America. We're both not desired in this place. They're cracking down on so-called Hispanics for being illegal, right? And they're invading our countries in the name of the war on drugs, which they started. The CIA started the war on drugs through the CIA Contra scandal and all that back in the early 80s when it started to come out. They started the war on drugs. Reagan and Bush are the biggest drug dealers to ever exist. Never mind, Escobar and Pablo Acosta. Never mind Chapo, right? But the biggest drug dealers here is the CIA and the USA. That's the biggest drug dealer. They're the ones orchestrating and manipulating all the drugs on the Western Hemisphere. They started, and they're in bed with every cartel in South America. But they want to act like they're the ones trying to put a stop to the war on drugs when they're the ones who started it. They're the ones responsible for the downfall of, these Latin American countries. The downfall by the violence of the war, the gang wars, the violence of these cartel wars. They're the ones responsible for all that. And we can see that through, Operation Fast and Furious, where America was supplying the cartels with ammunitions. You know what I mean? Like the CIA Contra scandal, where America was supplying the guerrilla armies over there in not Venezuela, but what is that country that Noriega was the president of? Well, he was supplying Noriega and all his allies. The CIA was supplying all them, the guerrilla units with ammunition and arms through the flooding of the streets of Los Angeles with crack cocaine, with the cocaine that they got from South America. That's how they funded all that, because the Congress didn't want to grant the funding, so they found a loophole through drugs. Yet they want to say that they're the ones exterminating drugs and drug dealers, right? When they're the very cause of it. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. Everything that's wrong with this society and this world, they had their hand in it. Just like, the Epstein files that are being uncovered right now. All the child abuse cases that are being, uncovered now. That's been happening on for centuries, since they came to this side of the land. It's been happening for centuries. When the Spaniards came over here, who do you think they were abusing? They didn't care if you were young or old. And they were taking back slaves. Who do you think they were abusing? They were abusing the children also. It's time for us to wake up and realize that we both are in a spiritual fight. And this is a fight for the very, dominion of the earth. They don't want to lose their position because they're starting to. And we are rising up. Blacks and Hispanics are both rising up. Their numbers are dwindling while our numbers are steady increasing. And they know this. That's why they're putting up these facades, right? These war tactics against the war on drugs, against illegal immigration. This is what's really happening. It's time to wake up and realize that us being apart and seeing each other as different is not going to help us. It's not going to help the cause of blacks and Hispanics, of black and brown. It's not. And this fight that we're in, it's not a physical fight, even though they do bring it out physically, but it's not a physical fight because they're putting out propaganda to change your spirit of how you see your brother. And they've been doing that for centuries through their imaging of the greatest man to ever walk the earth, Jesus Christ. They paint him as a white man when Jesus Christ is a black man from the tribe of Judah, right? But they don't want you to know that you're the greatest people on earth, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. They don't want you to know that you're the children of God. They don't want you to know your true place in this world. Because if you knew that, they would lose their place. Verse 2, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you, before the day passes the chaff, before this whole place goes up in smithereens, goes up in ash, right? We're inching closer and closer, as they say, the doomsday clock, right? you can hear, you know, the heads of society talk about the doomsday clock, that the when it starts 12, that's when World War III will happen. World War III is getting closer and closer, it's inching closer and closer to the shores of America. And we're not going to see troops on the ground. That's not how we're going to see World War III. We're going to see World War III is through thermonuclear fire. That's how World War III is going to be fought. It's by a push of the button. That's it. There's not going to be like physical troops on the ground. We're not going to see that. The game has proceeded far beyond that. Everybody is at an arms race right now. We're going to see this place go up in ash. That's what we're going to see. But before we see that, we must come together. Black and brown must unite or die. Go up with this place. That's the only option we have. No more should we see each other as different. See each other as a different people, because they don't see us different. ICE is going after both Black and Hispanics together. They're targeting us both. They both want us out of our position. Right? We're becoming too uppity, as they would say, right? They want us both on the bottom and to stay at the bottom. Let's get into another scripture. Let's go into Leviticus 19, and we'll start at verse 17. See, we see each other as different because that's how they want us to see it, right? Through social engineering and propaganda throughout the centuries that we've been here, that we've been slaves here in America. They want us to see each other as different because that's a tactic that they have, right? It's a military tactic called divide and conquer. They want us divided so they can keep us conquered, keep us under their foot, keep us under their thumb, keep us under their knee till we are no more, till they're done with us, right? It's time to stand up and rise up, shake the oppressor off of you. And by doing that, you got to change your mind. You got to stop looking at your brother as different from you. You got to stop looking at a Black man as less than you, Mexican man. You got to stop looking at a Mexican as less than you, Black man. Oh, they don't like us, so we're not going to like them, right? They hate on us, so we're going to hate on them. Well, how about we just simply stop hating on them and show them love? Hispanic man. We just simply stop hating on them and show them love. And by doing that, then we'll finally know love within each other. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Right? You shouldn't hate your brother in your heart. And your heart is just an organ that pumps blood. So whenever you see your brother and you have in your mind that they're less than you, you need to take that thought far out of your mind. You see your brother and you just automatically have some type of animosity against him for no apparent reason, simply because your grandfather hated them. So now your father talks down on them. So now you're starting to see that same animosity as your forefathers. How about we shake that We shake that hate for our brother. We shake that. We take that hate and get it far out of our mind. Start from the top. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. Right? We see each other as different, and it's like, oh, they're going through that because there are people that don't like to see their people succeed. So we're just going to sit back because they're just going to see their own downfall, right? That's how some Hispanics feel about blacks, and how the blacks, now that the ICE agents are going after so-called Hispanics, right? They view it as, they voted for that, so we're just going to sit back and let them fight that fight, right? But we should stop seeing each other as different and rebuke one another. Rebuke is correct one another. You see your brother doing bad, right? Go and correct him. Say, hey, brother, I don't think you should be doing this. What we should do is we should get together and let's figure out how to beat this together. Right? That's what we do here in the ISUPK. We see our both black and Hispanic brothers doing bad in the street, right? We don't just say, oh, that's not our fight. No, we join with our brother. We join with our brother. We have substance abuse programs. We see our brothers struggling with substances. We're offering a way out. We see our brothers struggling in the street, with having no morsel to eat to fill their stomachs. We have food and clothing programs. We're lending out the olive branch to our brothers. A peace offering, saying it's time to come back together. It's time to build together. We're not just staying out of the fight. We're entering the fight, strapping up our boots and entering the fight. We're not just going to let our brother fall. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. And that's what you're doing, right? When you step away and decide that, oh no, this is their fight. This is their downfall, right? You're suffering sin upon them. But how about we come together, correct each other? It's like, now, yeah, you see where you went wrong, brother? You thought this system was going to be for you and save you and make you a part of its own. But now you see the system hates you just like it hates me. How about we just love each other and just forget about this system because this system's falling, right? How about we put that mentality in our heart, in our mind, instead of that hatred that we have for one another? Because our future is not going to be built on, the downfall of this brotherhood. This brotherhood that the ISUPK has built up, both black and Hispanics together. That should be, throughout the whole entire U.S., entire world where blacks and Hispanics are at. And this is the only place where you're going to see it, because you're not going to see it anywhere else. Everywhere else, they're going to have an agenda. The only agenda here in the ISUPK is bringing the supremacy of black and Hispanics here on earth. That's the only agenda. And handing that primacy over to our King, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. We can't see our rise through hatred of our brothers. We can't see that. We're only going to see the rise of blacks and Hispanics when we come together and love each other. That's the only way. Verse 18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. And that's your neighbor, black man, Hispanic man, Native American man, is the children of thy people. Yes, the black man is the children of thy people. The Hispanic man is the children of thy people, black man. We are both of the same flesh, of the same blood. And it's plain to see that because they hate us both the same way here. There's a reason for that. The reason why they hate us both is because we're the same person. We're the same people. That's why they hate us. It's not about skin color. It's not. It's about the spirit and the blood that's pumping through our veins. We share the same spirit, the same blood, which is, the blood of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we carry the spirit of Christ within us. We do it ignorantly. Why do you think the most spiritual people on the face of this earth is blacks and Hispanics? A lot of people say, oh, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Okay. You believe in God? Yeah. Okay. Well, that spirit that you said you're so spiritual, right? In the scriptures, it says that we have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. Well, I'm going to give you some knowledge tonight. The reason why you're so spiritual is because you are the children of God. You are Israel, a prince of the power. That's what Yasha'Allah means, a prince of the power. You're the Lord's chosen people. That's why you're so drawn to God, to like a higher power. Because you are of that higher power. That's the reason why we're so spiritual. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. We're supposed to love each other as just like how you love your fellow Mexican man. You're supposed to love your fellow black man just the same way. It's how you wouldn't want yourself to feel the pain of losing a son, right? Well, you shouldn't want to take somebody else's son's life, right? Shouldn't bear any grudge against the children of thy people. It's time for us to bury the hatchet. Yes, we have some plex between us through the past, right? But it's time to bury that. We can't see our people rise above that with us still hating each other. It's time to put all them differences aside, all them disagreements aside, and learn to love each other again. Salaki, let's go into Psalms 133, verse 1. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. A song of decrees of David. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. In unity, that's how we should see each other, as being united, not as different from one another. For far too long, we've been seeing each other as different simply because we're of a different skin tone. When a lot of so-called Hispanics are black, right? When a lot of so-called black have some sort of Hispanic in their family, have some sort of Native American in their family, right? We all say that we're Native American. We all say that, right? Oh, you must got Indian in your blood. That's why your hair is so wavy, and you got quote unquote good hair, or like some of us in the Hispanic communities. Parece un negro porque that's why your nose is so like you look black because you must have some black in your family. That's why your nose is so big, or your lips are so thick and your nose is so wide. And we even call each other negro. Like if we're real dark, we call each other negro, which is black. You know what I mean? When the conquistadores came over here, they called us los negros de la tierra, which means the blacks of the land. They don't see us different. And then our nicknames that we nickname ourselves, it's not different. It's not. But, through, lies and propaganda that our enemy has forced on us, we see each other different. When we're not different at all. We have the same spirit. We have the same, same tastes in food, right? We both like our food very well seasoned. Hispanics love their food seasoned, very spicy. Well, what do blacks put on their fried chicken? Hot sauce, spicy. It's the same thing. Know what I mean? We both love our fried chicken. We both love the carne asadas, barbecues. We have the same spirit. We both have good music. We both are the best dancers ever, best musicians ever, best athletes ever. We have the same spirit, right? Whenever there's a boxing match that's going on, and it's an Hispanic versus a so-called black, right? Those are some of the best matches. Those are some of the best matches ever. But we want to say that we're different when we're the best athletes in the world. We have the same spirit. It's just that we don't know where the spirit comes from. Well, the ISUPK is the home of the truth. And the truth of that, the truth of where your spirit comes from is Israel, is a man named Israel, Jacob. We are his descendants. Reason why we have the same spirit, because we have the same father. We're brothers. That's exactly why. That's the truth of the matter of the fact. We're brothers. That's why we have so much animosity towards each other. That's why we have so much competition within blacks and Hispanics when it comes to boxing, right? That rivalry is there because we're brothers. That's what it is. We're brothers. It's just that the world wants to see us as different, and we're not. Salakia. Let's get into Ecclesiasticus 25:1. Salakia, bear with me. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 25, verse 1. In three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before God and men. The unity of brethren. The unity of brethren. That's how we're going to be beautified in the eyes of the Lord. This is how we're going to gain our position back according to the Most High. Right now, we're at the bottom of society. We're both being hunted down like dogs in the streets by ICE and the police. But once we come together That's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be beautiful because no longer are we going to be having a target on our back. No longer are we going to see each other different and help, the oppression be upon each other. We're going to raise each other up. And that's going to be beautiful in the eyes of God. The love of neighbors. Love your neighbor. Right? And just like I stated earlier in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17, your neighbor is the children of your people. That's your neighbor. The love of neighbors. A man and a wife that agree together, right? No longer will we have two-parent homes. Know what I mean? Once we put God first and put our feelings out of it, squash our feelings and put God first, and God wants us to come together, no longer will we have, two-parent households, single-parent households. I mean, two separate parent households. Right? We're going to see unity within Black and Hispanic households. That's how we as Blacks and Hispanics are going to come together. As we take our oppressor's mentality out of ours, his spirit out of our mind. Because the spirit of the devil is, he wants you to still be separate from your brother, to look at your brother with some type of hatred, right? That's the spirit of our oppressor, because he hates himself also. So he wants you to hate your brother. He hates his children. That's why they're eating children on that island. They hate life. We're supposed to respect and love it. Respect and love our brothers. And if we want to see this place, rise up above the evil that is under right now, we can't do it by hating each other. We can't. It's up to us Blacks and Hispanics to turn things around. Because we can't leave it up to our oppressor anymore. Because the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. He just wants to see this place burn. If he can't stay on top, he wants to see everything end up in ash. He'd rather have everything blow up in smithereens than to hand over his position. He'd just rather go down with the sinking ship. And he'll sabotage that ship to sink. And that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. Well, how about we just step off of that ship, step out of that burning house, and let's build our own house where both Blacks and Hispanics can dwell together in unity instead of just seeing each other as different and hating one another, because that's what they want. Blacks and Hispanics hating each other is what they want. That's not what the Lord wants. The Lord wants us back together. Let's go back to the scriptures. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 12:1. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 12, verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. You know that, verse 2, you know that ye were Gentiles carried away into these dumb idols, even as ye were led. right? These Gentiles that it's speaking about are us, blacks and Hispanics, right? Because now we don't see each other and we don't see ourselves as being children of Israel. And we follow what the oppressor has shoved down our neck through colonization and slavery. So we follow that. Verse 3. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaketh by the Spirit of God calleth Jesus accursed, and that no man can say that Christ is the Lord but by the Holy Ghost, right? If we want to say Christ is the Lord, but we still have the spirit of our oppressor in us by seeing each other different, right? We can't say that we're truly followers of Christ and that we have the Holy Spirit within us. When the Holy Spirit wants us to come together again and forsake these dumb idols that were shoved down our throat. No longer should we see each other as Gentiles and heathen, like they would want us to see each other. We should see each other as the children of God, the chosen people of God, both blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians. It's time for us to come back to our true culture, to our true identity. Leave the spirit of the oppressor behind, because that's nothing but destruction. Because he wants us to forsake our God, forsake our true culture, our true heritage, which is our heritage is this Bible, which is the law, statutes, commandments. But you go into the church, they're going to have you thinking that you're a Gentile and the laws are done away with. Right? But those Gentiles spoken about in the so-called New Testament that are offered salvation, those are Israelites following heathenistic customs, just like how blacks and Hispanics follow the white man today. Why we think we're different, why we think that we're not the same people. We think that we're just, so-called Mexican, so-called black, when that's not what the Lord calls us. The Lord calls us Yasha Allah, Prince of the Power. We're the true Israelites spoken about in the Bible. That's our true history. No longer shall we be carried away in those dumb idols. We should step out of the Christian and Catholic Church because it only causes division within us. We're not seeing each other as the true brothers and sisters that the Lord wants us to see us as. We're not. In the Christian church, they're like, oh, we're all just children of God. But they would have you think that the devil is a children of God right alongside you. They would have you, trample on the name and the name of your true ancestors, which is Israel. To trample on that word, they would have you uphold their theology, the replacement theology, right? That Israel got replaced by the church. We just spoke about this yesterday in class, if you remember. They would have you uphold that doctrine of devils instead of coming back to your true culture, your true identity, which is an Israelite. And the Lord wants Israel to come together again, for the sticks to be joined together again, as it says in Ezekiel. But we can't be together again if we see each other as different. Brotherhood is the foundation of our salvation. That's what it is. That's the key to getting out of this hell, is brotherhood. And we cannot have brotherhood
with us viewing each other as different, while us, saying that it's not our fight. We should just step out and sit down somewhere else and just watch them destroy themselves, because that's the bed that they have made. No. How about we reach out that olive branch, right? Mend that branch between us. Have unity between blacks and Hispanics. Have love between blacks and Hispanics. Black and brown unity, black and brown love. Because the world hates black and brown. Well, how about we love black and brown? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 4. There is one body. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 4. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. Verse 5, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, right? One spirit. That's what we should have. One spirit. Right now, if you look, into what's happening in the earth today, you can see the spirit of blacks and Hispanics changing. You can. We're coming together once again. But let's do it in the spirit of truth, with the spirit of one Lord and one faith, of us rising to the top and handing that over to Christ when he comes back. That's the faith. And only then will we see any type of judgment, any type of justice for our atrocities, any type of peace. That is only when the world will see justice, is when blacks and Hispanics join together in one faith. And that faith is Christ coming back and taking this kingdom. That's the faith. And it's not going to be that effeminate Christ that most of blacks and Hispanics think that is hanging up in your Christian church. It's not. It's going to be the true Christ spoken about in the Holy Bible, which is a black man from the tribe of Judah. And it's not some effeminate man. Christ was an austere man. He was all about his father's business. He wasn't about, lollipops and rainbows. Because that's how our oppressor thinks, right? That's what he lures everybody with. Like his words were so sweet as honey, but yet drawn swords, right? His words were soft as oil, yet war was in his heart. That's how he conquered every empire in this wicked kingdom, right? Through the Aztec Empire, through the Mayan Empire, through the Trail of Tears, the Middle Passage, right? They say that he offered so many treaties, right, to the Native American Indians, but he did not keep one treaty. One treaty. When he came over here to the Western Hemisphere, he wanted to appease the so-called Aztecs and the Mayans, right? And like he was coming in peace. Yet he served us, blankets with smallpox. He served the sword behind his back. It's nothing but deceit with the white man. That's why we call him the devil, because that's what devil means, is a deceiver. It's not a red man underneath the ground with a pitchfork. No, It's that pale man smiling in front of your face, saying that, unity will abound, while he's sending ICE agents down to kidnap your children and your grandmother. It's time to wake up and realize that everything in this world, everything in this wicked nation is a lie. Everything. From what they shove down our necks through their Christianity, to the laws that they put on this nation. Because are they upholding the laws? They write the laws, but are they upholding it? No. Because if they were, we wouldn't have a felon in the office of the presidency. They don't take anything serious because they're the devil. They don't take their constitution serious, right? They're trampling all over the Constitution to this day, right? They don't take their constitution serious. They don't take their laws serious. Why should you take this country serious even further, Black and Hispanic man? Why should you have your faith in this wicked kingdom? Why should you still have your love in America? Still trying to uphold the American dream, when that dream is vastly becoming a nightmare. The realization of the American dream, the realization of the American dream is being revealed, that it's nothing but hatred and debauchery here in America, because their pursuit of happiness is Epstein Island. That's their idea of a happy life, right? It's a life full of debauchery, life full of sin, of chasing the pleasure of the flesh. And it's so twisted because their idea of pleasure is torturing the innocents. It's time to wake up to the fact that the devil runs this earth, that this earth is given into the hands of the wicked, as it says in the scriptures. And it's not going to see any type of justice with us hating each other, Black and Hispanics. The only justice that will ever come on to this earth is when we stop hating each other and Christ returns. Christ is waiting on us to love each other so he can return and set this wickedness that's amongst everything in this earth, set it aright. I'm going to read Zephaniah 2:1 again. With my closure scripture. Or Salakia. I just lost it. Where'd it go? Okay. Bear with me. My phone is glitching. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired. And that's you. The nation that's not desired is Israel, which is you, Black man, Hispanic man, Native American man. That's the nation not desired. Throughout the entire earth, they want us to see us continue to hate each other and be at the bottom, because that's when they're going to be on top. Every nation has had a hand in our downfall. So we're the most hated on this earth. Verse 2, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. We don't want to be stuck hand in hand with our oppressor, because Judgment is coming to our oppressor. If you've been living underneath a rock, you can see that judgment unfolding. The secrets and the evilness of this wicked kingdom is being revealed day by day by day. So with that, those evils being revealed, we know that there's a judgment coming. We can feel it. You know, blacks and Hispanics say that they're spiritual, right? Well, I'm pretty sure you can feel a judgment coming if you say that you're so-called spiritual, right? We have a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge. What the true knowledge is that with all this being revealed, that the prophecies are unfolding, that World War III is on the horizon. Judgment is on the horizon. It's time to get our spirit out of this place, get our love out of America, and put our love back into our people, back into our God. And we can't do that with us still hating each other. We have to come back and dwell in unity. And that's going to be a beautiful thing when that happens. And with that, this is the ISUPK. Started at one, this is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, their teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. My Ishra, which means 10th in the Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, the Feast of Purim. That's the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month. That's Monday, 2nd of March, and Tuesday, 3rd of March. You can find this in the book of Esther, chapter 9, verses 20 through 31. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pant, headband, scarf, this concludes the ISPK security announcements. And with that, Shalom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabrakatah to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Salakia. And with that, we're going to give one courteous salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat Barak Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shabrakatah to the brothers. Amaj Shabbat Sorry for sisters, men of Israel. Amaj Shabbat Amajim Barak Yahweh Shemar Latop Bashem Yahushai to the sisters. Yajim Matah, class dismissed.